welcome back to Sanctum Stitching, where modern meets vintage. I'm Fawn.
I'm Marianne.
And oh my goodness, has it been a week? So many of you are new here. So if you're new, we're so grateful that you found us. And if you're a returning subscriber, we are so glad that you've been with us from the beginning, from 2 weeks ago, whatever it may be. We usually start with celebrations, but I think because we do have so many new people around here, thanks to Athena Stitching Goddess, Sarah from Memphis Sarah E, and Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching, it might be a good idea if Marianne and I give a little bit of a background on who we are and what we like to stitch, just sort of as a recap. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're already talking.
I'm Fawn. I've been stitching for, I think, about 3 years or so. I don't think it's quite 4 yet. I started on a teeny tiny wooden hoop that I just wanted a project where I could go sit and stitch outside and do something, because I would paint. And it's really hard to get all your painting stuff together, especially in an apartment. But this little hoop that I found, it's like, oh, well, I could just pick that up easily. So I did. And maybe a month later, I went to the Needle Arts Guild of Toledo not expedition.
Show. Annual
exhibit. For me, it was an expedition, trying to go and venture to downtown-ish and go see the show. But they had all these different needleworks up there. There was stump work, crewel, cross stitch, beading, basically anything you can imagine they had there, and it was gorgeous. So meanwhile, I'm walking around in my purse, I've got this little wooden hoop, and my crosses aren't all going in the same direction and everything else, but everybody was so nice to me. They're like, oh, it looks great. And so later on, I'm like, oh, you were all lying to me.
Oh, he had to just reel you in,
Oh, I know. So then the next month I went to the guild meeting, and I've been there ever since. So I do a lot of cross stitch, needlepoint on canvas. I'm going to learn stump work. That's my next project, which I'm going to actually jump into in May. Soutache, embroidery. Basically, if it's something that you can do with a needle and thread, I'll probably try it, or I've already tried it. And then personally, I have a PhD in experimental psychology. I'm not sure if I've even stated that on this channel before. And I'm currently working as a data analyst in automotive, it seems so different, but it's really not, because data is data, and it just works out. So I really like that. I have a husband named Sean. He shows up on this channel pretty often. I have a cat named Wally, also shows up on this channel pretty often. And that's pretty much it for me. I'm more of the modern in our modern meets vintage tagline.
And I'm Marianne, and I'm the vintage. What can I say? I am a retired law librarian. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and have been in Toledo for at least 30 plus years. I'm married to a Yooper. For those of you who do not know what that is, Joe is from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and he is also a law librarian, and he's a lawyer, or an attorney, and a lawyer. He has his law degree. And we have 2 Westies, Roscoe and Brian, and we have a younger cat named Fritz, or Fritzy. And all 3 of them show up on the screen every now and then, and Joe shows up every now and then disappears.
Yeah, I like when Joe comes in and tells us a joke and then just leaves.
And I have probably been stitching for over 50 plus years. I know at least that, if not a little more. And learned, from my mama just how to do the cross stitch you do on stamped cross stitch, where it's all right there for you and you just cover up the blue ink. And I do needlepoint, crewel, hardanger, stump work, county cross stitch, regular embroidery. I have learned one piece of felting to do. I've tried some of those things. Some I have said, no, thank you. I did learn some tambour beading down at a class in Lexington, Kentucky from the Royal School of Needlework and said this was interesting. I'll never do it again, but it was fun to try. So there's quite a variety around here. And I do like, I'm not as fast at it sometimes as Fawn is. I get interrupted, and I also like to knit. So I can do that and crochet as well. So I sometimes get off onto a knitting project, and the stitching goes by the wayside for a little bit. I've been a member of the Needle Arts Guild since 1996, I believe. Some friends gave it to me as a birthday present, and I've served as every office in the guild, and enjoy it. It's made up of a lot of very interesting people, and we have quite a lot of people that are very talented and very what's the word I want to use? We have 2 master craftsmen from the Embroiderers Guild of America's classes for their stitching and beading. So we are part of a group called the Embroiderers Guild of America. That's who our guild belongs to. And we're very fortunate right now. We've got at least half of us still attending Zoom meetings. Fawn and I run the Zoom. And so we've stayed together, where some guilds have suffered with people not being able to get together this last year. Let's see. I talk. I'm Southern. I talk. Maybe sometimes say the same thing 3 times. It's always you got to be sure you understand what we're saying. And I have a sister in Washington, D.C., and a brother in Memphis, and a brother in Atlanta area. So then they all have children too, but my children all are on 4 legs. And and I think sometimes drive me more crazy than the ones that are walking around on 2. But
oh, I believe it. With Fritz, for sure.
With Fritz, for sure. So anyway, so we welcome you to the channel. Pam and Steph just keep stitching. Pam and I we worked in the same court library system for the federal courts. That's how I met her. So we've known each other a long time. So we want to wish them, they're coming up with their 4th anniversary soon, next month. So we appreciate their shout out to us. Welcome to all of y'all. If I think of anything else you need to know, I'll definitely chime up. I'm certainly not shy that way.
Yeah.
But
well, we just celebrated our 1 year.
Yeah, Fawn is the one that got us involved in this, and she had the idea a year ago. And so I said, okay, so here we are, and we're having fun. So we just have a good time together. Yeah.
Yeah. We usually talk for like an hour before and an hour after we film, and then we're like, oh, we should be recording.
Right.
And then eventually we're like, oh, I'm hungry. I gotta go get dinner. Bye.
Yeah, bye. We're done.
Mm-hmm. But so we just celebrated 1 year, which was, I think, last week. I can't remember the date, but so exciting. It feels like it's been a year, but it also doesn't feel like it's been a year.
Yeah.
So, and I was thinking for next video, we'll have to pull together some sort of giveaway, because we hit over 500 subscribers and we celebrated 1 year. So we'll have to find something sort of big to do or fun or whatever. So be on the lookout, come back, keep watching. Do you want to do your celebration?
Well, I'm celebrating. We've got all these new subscribers, and I had looked at the thing the other afternoon, just yesterday afternoon, and yesterday morning, saw 400 and something. And then at 2:00 last night, I was looking, it said over 500. I said, well, I can't call Fawn now. So I'm celebrating that people actually have said, hey, y'all are kind of nice to just listen to. And that's nice to hear, that we're not boring people to tears yet.
Yeah, I think Claire from Stitched Lit, she was talking about having like the subscriber count, and how some people are like, oh, well, 500 is not a lot, but for other people, 500 is huge. And like for us, it's huge. And she phrased it as, and I think somebody told her this, so I'm going to say that she told me this through her Flosstube, that that's this equivalent of having 500 people in your living room while you're trying to talk about your cross stitch. So you have 500 subscribers, that's 500 people watching you. That's 500 people you're talking to weekly, bi-weekly, and that's insane to have 500 people we're chatting with.
Kind of neat, huh?
It's so cool.
Joe would say, thank goodness they want to listen to you.
Yes, yeah, keep you occupied for a couple hours. Give Joe a break.
Out of his way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then my celebration is I took Friday off of work, and my husband and I are going to drive a couple hours to go to a stitching shop, Just Stitching Inc. It's just outside Cleveland, Ohio, and I am so excited. And I was telling Marianne earlier, my husband is more excited than I am since he stitches now. He was like, oh, I wonder what charts they have. Maybe I could get some cool fabric. Yeah. Oh, I want to get more needles. We should get another Q-snap. I was like, oh my goodness, look at you go. It's like, it's not even me anymore. It's like, oh, I need this pattern. He's like, I wonder if they have that snowman. It's like, they probably have the snowman.
Yeah. Look out.
So we've been talking for a while. We should probably get to the actual stitching.
I guess so. Yeah.
You said you had a new start, didn't you?
Yes, I do. Our guild is, for years now, we have been doing a outreach for the Make-A-Wish people, and everybody has offered to stitch at some time or another. We were making little circles with it says Make-A-Wish, and you put the child's name, and then they put it into a little frame and it goes on a teddy bear. Well, of course, with COVID, we haven't been able to do any of that. So we're not sure when they're going to start up again, but if they do, I'm sure we'll jump back in. But we reached out to Habitat for Humanity, and they do samplers that they give to the people whose houses are either, the people have either worked in redoing a whole house, or now I know sometimes it's a roof or something. It's not always redoing something that's, falling apart. So I said I volunteered to be one of the ones putting together a sampler for the Habitat for Humanity.
Up and to your left. Up now. And then back slightly. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. So there you go. I'm not quite through. I still need to add the family name. And I'm debating whether I might want to put a border around it. We've looked online. EGA, Embroiderers Guild of America, actually has a pattern on there. Some of this we got from another guild down in Florida. So I think we've got some other options if we want to change, but I've been working on this. I was so excited. I got for those of you who are new, my sewing machine is a 1973 Sears Kenmore, and it had been sitting there not doing anything. And phones heard, I was trying to get everything working again, and I was so excited. I finally got it going, and I actually can do my zigzag stitch. So that's the key. Because you like
You didn't stitch that by hand?
No. I got this machine going, and see how straight it is?
Yeah, my stuff's not straight.
Well, that's because there's that little plate I've told you about that has
that plate can be there all it wants. My stuff's not straight.
That's okay. That's okay. She does a good job for somebody that's never sewn anything in her life before, going to, she never had to take home ec. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, so I was in 4-H and we made an apron, but I was like probably 6 years old, so I really didn't make that apron.
No, you really didn't.
I picked out the horse fabric and then I finished it, but I didn't really finish it.
But yeah, in high school I took home ec, and of course my mother had always been sewing and my great grandmother sewed, and so one learned to sew. But but the sewing machine's working now, and it's in Fritzy's room, and he's just going to have to, he sat up on the chaise lounge the other day watching me do that stitching. He was off to the side.
Something new.
Yeah, he didn't jump into it or anything, but he was looking. So that's my new start there.
Yeah, I always worry that Wally's going to step on my pedal.
Mhm.
And I
Me
was like,
too.
oh no.
Yeah. When I'm not using the machine phone, it's up on the desk and I bring the pedal and put it in its little case and stick it up in the machine and then put the lid over the over the machine since it's a portable one. So he can't get in there because I just know I'll hear this thing going at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. And,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and you don't want a cat with a needle in its paw, believe me.
Well,
So,
I'm just more worried that he's going to hurt me. I'm going to be going with it, take my foot off, fix something, and then he's going to sit on it.
Oh, okay. Where is your pedal's down on the floor, isn't it? Yeah.
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 Yeah. But my machine has like an on-off, so I'm not worried about it when I'm not using it. I just worry about it when I am using it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, Fritzy's checking those things. Water bottle, Mr. Water Bottle, get a Mr. Water Bottle. Comes in handy.
So I have 2 new starts. The first one is Alforce Embroidery 100 Owls. So this is a free chart. If you just go to their website, you can download it. And they actually count in their pattern. There are 100 owls on here, which is pretty cool. And I am stitching this on, of course, now my little paper's gone. Oh, got it. This is on 16 count Ada, and it is All the Things by, I think, Mystic Fabrics. Mm-hmm. And here's where I got to.
Whoa.
So you can see the fabric's kind of like a greeny brown color. Mm-hmm. And this is part 1. I'm almost done. I messed up in here and it's kind of smaller than it's supposed to be, but I think it'll end up evening out. And then I got the circle to match perfectly, which I should have known. If I got the circle to match, something else was going to go wrong, because usually the circle is the part that goes wrong. And so in his face, the white stitching, I think it's starting to show. His face is like wide on one side, but I'm just hoping, like, I mean, all owls don't look the same, so it's fine.
Well, just don't tell anybody anymore and nobody will notice anyway.
Oh, I know, but I like to tell people because then it makes me feel less alone that I always mess it up.
I understand.
When I hear like other people mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I ripped out something 2 times on this, habitat thing because I didn't have it quite right,
Oh no.
So no, sometimes it's easier just to leave the mistake and move on because it'll take you forever to
especially when it's not a place that it's going to mess up everything else. And it's like, okay, it's fine. So then the second start is my spooky start. And this is Leshy, Guardian of the Woods by the Witchy Stitcher. So it's very spooky looking.
Excuse me.
And so this is part of her Slavic folklore series. The Kikamora, which I stitched. If you've been around for a while, you've seen that. That's part of it. And then there's Baba Yaga. I have that kit, or I had that kit, and then I stole the fabric out of it to do this one. So now I'm almost kitted. I have to re-kit that one back up, but at least
she loves weird looking things, y'all. She loves
I like Halloween. I like spooky.
I like weird. Those are really interesting. Those ones you do. I especially like the lady one, the one you just finished. Kikamora. I think that's cool, and this is going to be fun to watch you do too.
Oh yeah, but you're right though. I do like the weird stuff. If it's different, I'm really into it, because I mean, who would think when you think of cross stitch that you would be stitching this creepy guy,
Right.
And so that's what I love about it. And so this is where I got to.
Okay.
I got the whole face done. Started on the ribs. There's a lot of half stitch that I've done that I have to go back and recross, but I didn't want to run into the issue I had with the owls, so I wanted to make sure it was going to line up, especially because in this first section there's a lot of confetti. You can see with the green here, and so I wanted to make sure it was going to be okay. And then once you get into the rest of the pattern, it's much less confetti, and then I'll be back exactly where I was with Kikamora, and I'll have all the black to do, and I'm sure I'll outline it, and then I'll complain and be like, oh, I have to fill in all the black. And then one day I'll show back up and it'll just be done out of nowhere.
Speaking of, looking at this, that makes me think of the piece that has the borders that all looks like different frames. The one you've been doing of different Halloween things, isn't it?
Oh, the Sabrina one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't bring up
mad at that
Sabrina.
one. I got mad at that one.
Yeah, that's
So
all right. This one's interesting. This is really kind of interesting. It looks like a goat's skull.
Yeah, and so somebody else was showing, I think it was Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. I think that's her tagline. She was saying that she got this pattern, and she's farther than I am already, but she also got the Leshy from Al Forest Embroidery, and their take on the folklore is much more whimsical and fun. And so this guy looks really ominous, whereas the same version stitched by a different designer looks very non-threatening and sort of like, oh, I want to go hug a tree kind of pattern.
Oh, okay.
So it's just really cool to see the different takes on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was my start. So do you have any whips that you worked on? So work in progress?
I'm coming along with the, I'm coming along with the Hearthside Christmas.
I really
when I looked at our last one, I had stopped up here. So now I think I was at the then, Evermore is new. And then today I actually stitched this part. This is going to be a bell. There's going to be a bell hanging here. So I got that. You know, it's funny. You sit there. I wasn't listening to any music or anything. I was just waiting to get on here with you. And I was stitching this, and it still took at least 30 minutes. That's how slow I am, y'all. But it took that long. Well, I did have to get up and go let the dogs out and let them in or something. But still, just to do that little bit to make sure it's just where you want it, that it's the right thing, because this is 1/2 on 28 count linen, which Mom will tell you that's something new for me to do that. Some, I mean, I use linen, but for me to do 1/2, and I'm actually liking it. I'm liking how it looks.
Yeah, it makes it look really delicate.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. And it's on some fabric from Under the Sea Fabrics. It's the autumn. So that's my continuous thing. And then I do have a knitting piece.
2 whips and a new start. Look at you. You're on fire today.
Yeah, and I have the cowl that's making progress. So there we have our warm. It's almost, I've still got another 2 rows to do, another light pink and then another dark, the berry, and then I have to do another lace thing down here.
Wow, you got almost 2 rows since we saw it last.
Yeah.
Or over 2 rows.
Yeah, and then Fawn sent me, she brought some yarn by, and I have 2 patterns that I think will work. So perfect. I need to get started on something for Fawn, a headband for Fawn. And I do knitting for my little niece Lily, so I probably will be working on something that way, like a toy or something this time. So anyway, that's works in progress.
That's so pretty. And I'll say one thing about my headband before I forget. The reason I love the one that I have is because it's not like, it doesn't cling to my head. It's kind of loose. So just for reference. Okay. Yeah, I have
one of those that just wraps and has a knot at the top is kind of what she's wanting. It's not really a knot, it's a fold. But
it's just like they twisted it and then stitched it back together. Yeah. But it's my favorite, and I can't find another one like it. And so Sean keeps trying every year to buy me a new headband, and they're always so tight or whatever. And finally I begged Marianne. I was like, please help me. I can't knit, I can't crochet. I tried, so I need help.
We're gonna knit this thing and get it done for you. Yeah.
Perfect. You got till next winter, so no rush.
I know. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Exactly. So I have 2 whips because I really like hunkered down on the one, and you'll be able to tell when I show it. And so the first one is Zodiac. Let me find something. By Clouds Factory. I was doing so good keeping up with one every single month, and then March Madness hit, and this wasn't progressing through my brackets very well, and then I fell off track. And then this month I'm still working on that same one I was supposed to be doing in March, and now it's almost May, so now I'm annoyed with it. But I put it on my plans to come back up in May, so hopefully we can at least get March's done. So I think from the last time you saw it, I added one of the planets. I got the white stitching in the middle done, so the symbols, and then I'm starting to get the mermaids done. And once again, I'm
found your puddle just a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm like having an internet lag because it was showing me like the whole thing. Let's try that again.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Okay. I got the planet in, I got the symbol and the actual star sort of sign. And then I started on the mermaids, and I'm off somewhere on here. So that merman is a lot chunkier than he's supposed to be. And so then I got annoyed with it and put it away. And so I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill in the tail, which is supposed to go right there. And I think once I get the tail put in, I'll be able to tell where he's off. Yeah. And once I can do that, we'll be okay.
Yeah. You're doing fine with that. We just, when you are showing it and you're behind it, we can't hear you real well.
Yeah, I think it was also internet too, because my whole screen got so pixelated. So
dear.
If that didn't go through right, I'm sorry. I'll show it again next week. Let me know.
It did just fine. It did just fine. So there we go.
And so then I've had this canvas piece going for probably a year now, or maybe not quite a year, but it's getting there. And I really wanted it just to be done because last week I showed that I bought new canvas pieces, and I don't want to have too many canvas pieces going at one time because they do take up a lot of room. And then if you let them sit for too long, at least for me, I have to put them back on the frame, and that's its own headache. So I just want to have one at a time. So I'm trying to get this one done. So here is Pansy from Nancy's Needle. So the last time you guys saw it, I had the center done. I had part of a band, this purple band done on each side, but I really didn't even have that. And so within the last week, I got this whole second half finished, except for there's a couple stitches right here in the metallic, and I'll show that up close in a minute. But I was just like, you could tell I just had enough, because you spend so long on one piece, especially on canvas, and you can see through it. So it's like kind of taxing on your eyes. And that was the moment I had enough. But I also got this whole purple border around. I got the top ones done and this whole half. So I'm really close.
Yeah, you've done quite a bit. Very nice.
So I just have to repeat the motifs. Let's see, where's my finger?
Yeah,
right here. Yeah. And then inside on both sides. And then there's 2 borders that go around it. So I think it'll end up coming out to about here. But once I get the first count on those right, it should be really easy to do. In here, you can tell by like the shape of this stitch, it's so much zigzag, and so it's like up 2, down 2, but then over 3 and up 2, and it gets to be really tedious. So yeah,
she is not someone, y'all, who picks something easy for a first time doing something. She's not done canvas before and jumped into something like this that complicates it, but she gets it done. You know, I'm giving her a shout out there. It looks nice. Looks nice.
Thanks. I've done two canvases before this one, but this was the first one that had all of they were more chunky or more embroidery style and less of the zigzag count. So, but you know, when you like something, you gotta get it stitched.
Yeah, that's right. That's turning out very nicely. Well, that's true. You did do the one with the big flowers. You were working on one of those.
Yeah, I did the sunflower, and then I did the autumn sunflower, which had the repeating.
Yeah.
But I have a crow pattern, that crow and like blue and Indian corn that I got and I showed last week. I really, really want to work on that. So I have to power through the pansies so I can get to it.
Okay.
And that's it for whips, which seems crazy to me because usually I feel like I work on 1,000 things, but I guess I had 2 new starts. So
good.
Did you get anything this week?
Well, a friend of mine at lunch today gave me a book called Stitch and Bitch, and it's about knitting. So the Knitter's Handbook, which I have something, not this, but some other stuff, but it's got some more modern type knitting things in it. So that should be fun to look at.
Wow, it looks like a big book too.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. And then let me see. I meant to show this. I had gotten this, I think, when we were on here 2 weeks ago, and I had mentioned that that I'd gotten this piece. It's from the same place that I got the cowl, and this is Touch the West with Jackson. So it's a felting. The thread is called Jackson Mountain Merino DK weight, which is lightweight, very pretty thread. It's similar to what I'm using with the cowl, but a little bit more. So what they're thinking I'm going to do is make the pattern is for a purse.
That's cute.
Yeah,
I like the flowers on it.
Yeah, the problem is it's a felting thing, felted plains bag. So we'll see. The only felt, and they even included something else you can do something with. What they do is they give you the yarn to use for the project, and then they throw something else in just for the fun of it. So this is the only felted piece I have ever done.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Karen, who's in our guild, taught us felting, and so we all sat there one night with these long needles that are very sharp, and you just pound, 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 pound.
With barbs on them.
Yeah, but it's a cute little nest with the eggs in it. So that's the only thing I've ever felted. So I need to get my act together and read this and see, because felting is actually you knit something and then you soak it. You get it really wet and shrink it. And so there's an art to it. One of our ladies in guild, Christine, that got her, she's known for her beading. She actually she made a felted hat, got that all made, and then did the beading all on it. So it's like a cloche.
Oh, I didn't realize she made the hat too.
Yeah, she made the hat too. She knitted the hat, got it all the right size, and felted it, and then did the beading all on it. It looks like something from the 20s. It's absolutely beautiful. And that was in our virtual exhibit last year. We couldn't do our usual annual show, so I put together a virtual exhibit for us, and we had it online. So there we go. But anyway, that's one of the things. That's one of my little things I got. So
nice. Yeah, that looks like fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I got one thing, and it was from Creative Poppy off their website. It is Baby Boars and Japanese Flowers, and it's Gara by Kayoko Maruka. Hopefully I'm not butchering that, but look at those little baby boars.
Oh, cute.
Baby boars on leaves, and I just lost my mind. I love it so much. It comes with, this is supposed to go, I think, not an Altoid tin, but a similar type tin. You put it on top, and then the bird is a separate piece that makes like sort of a teeny tiny pincushion. Okay. And so I'm going to start this. It's not really showing up too well. Let's see.
There you go.
I'm going to start this on Friday. It was really cheap. I've never ordered from Creative Poppy before, but for your first time, they give you a coupon code for $4 off. So that made this pattern very, very cheap. And I had all of the floss. I knew the perfect fabric for it. And so this is what I'll be working with.
Oh, cool.
This is Aurora by Color and Cotton. It was part of the fabric of the month. And I cannot wait to have little bitty baby boars on leaves. And so I bought that because our channel started blowing up. And I was like, oh, I need to remember how good this moment feels. And so that baby boars make me happy. Our channel getting subscribers and viewers and all of you being here makes me happy. So it's perfect.
Doesn't take much, y'all. Doesn't take much.
No, that's okay. That's a good thing. What? Oh, I should pull it up. So I asked on Instagram if anybody had questions for us since we were filming today. And somebody did. Let me pull that up so I can give them the credit. Stitcherness, STITCHERNESS on Instagram asked, what was your favorite stitch from last year or of all time? And so I pulled out, especially for some of the newer viewers who haven't seen this before, my wedding embroidery piece. So I stitched this myself. Let's take it out of the glass. Of course, it's got a really strong magnet. There we go.
Okay.
So I stitched this piece. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I could talk through the glass. Hi. It makes me look really sunburnt. So this is
a little louder though. Louder, yes.
I know. I'm gonna go this way.
There, yeah. Keep the piece up there. You just need to talk a little louder. Yeah.
Yeah, talking through the glass is driving me nuts.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a replica of my wedding bouquet. And so on here is actually part of my husband's boutonniere, the flower, which you can see the texture there. Mm-hmm. The sort of grass that was in his boutonniere, and then both the ribbon and sort of the leathery piece that was on my bouquet and his boutonniere. And so I just sort of made this up. I had an idea and I slaved over it whenever he wasn't home. And this is my favorite thing because it's totally original. It's really special to me and I love it. So then I got this frame at Hobby Lobby. I put way too many tacks, which I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of, there you go. It's like precariously in there. But it's shadow box format, so it's definitely protected, especially with the real dried flowers on there. I wanted it to be protected.
Yeah. Nice job.
Yeah, so I finished that just in time for our 1-year anniversary last year. So that's really cool. Did you have your favorite piece?
Well, since I've been at this such a long time, one piece is hard to come up with. But for something I've done within the last few years, we had a class in, I think, was it 2018 or 19, I guess, because I was recovering from, I was after just before my hip surgery, I think, and stuff.
Oh, I have that one.
Called Walking the Water's Edge by Diane Herman.
I love that.
It. And so it's probably my most recent favorite piece, other than my, Honeybee Hill that Fritzy likes to sit on.
That's Fritz's favorite piece.
Yeah, this is Bargello, and then little islets at the bottom, and then the little seashells and the starfish. And I sat on our porch and just so it was, I think, it was 2019 because I was working on it out there while we were getting our bathroom redone. It's supposed to hang in the bathroom, but we haven't decided where yet. So that's why it has glass on it. does have archival. It has anti-reflective glass on there. So yeah, I love this piece. I really do. But
Yeah, I have to get back to finishing mine.
yeah,
That's tucked away. Got tucked away so I could start the canvas pansy so I could pretend it didn't exist.
Well,
So I've got to get back to that.
it's hard to pick one when you've
Oh
done,
gosh.
you know, I've got the 3 pillows that are all the dogs that we've had and things like that. Oh, excuse me, y'all, this is making racket. Oh, well, there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
All
I
racket.
don't even have that many patterns or things that I've stitched, and it was still so hard for me to pick a favorite.
Yeah,
I was like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I guess this one's you.
yeah.
Did you have any vintage?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Last time I showed y'all some vintage, like I pulled out some potpourri and said I actually use it like a sachet. Well, I found another one of the little sachets that's in my drawer, and you see the little bit of embroidery that's on that, and then the lace. And then I have 2 others. This is what you get when you get vintage, y'all. I haven't done all this, but some of it's vintage pieces. Let me see where that is. Oh, here. My grandmother, Ruby, my daddy's mother, went over on a trip to Europe, you know, after she retired. She and her sister, and I guess her brother-in-law, and then some other people, you know, went on one of those tours. She came back and we asked her, she had never been there. I mean, I've never been to Europe, but she came back and we said, how'd you like it? Well, it was a lot of old dirty buildings, you know.
I think their buildings are beautiful.
Oh, they're beautiful, but to her, I mean, she was in her late 60s or something. To her, she said, well, there's a lot of old dirty buildings there. I said, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But she brought back this teeny tiny little thing. It says Swiss made Alba 100% cotton, whatever, but it's teeny tiny little, look at the embroidery though.
Wow.
It is
That's
hand,
beautiful.
it is embroidered. And it's got a little cushion in the back. Kind of, you can open it up and put in fresh. It's just got the cotton ball in there, but it's still got the little label on it. And then I also found this one. This was also made in Switzerland, and it's a happy birthday.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So those I keep in my drawer with scarves and underwear, you know, slips and stuff. This is one I came across. It's a handkerchief, and it says, it's hard to read, made in French zone of Austria, all cotton.
Oh, wow.
Pretty, the embroidery.
I like the shading on the leaves.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is. And it's just a nice little handkerchief. I'm not sending that to Lily anytime soon. And this was this is another example of just some beautiful lace embroidery.
Wow, it looks like it's done with a machine. It's so perfect.
I don't know. I don't think it is, but
No, I doubt that it is. I'm just saying because it's stitched so well.
I know it is. Yeah, I don't, because I'm not sure how old this piece is. This other one, this is the one that my grandmother got for me while she was over there in Europe. And this is still the bag it came in.
That's a pretty bag. I wouldn't throw it out either.
I know. Embroidered Margrit, M-A-R-G-R-I-T, Margaret Reisman, R-A-E-B-S-A-M-E-N, so Reisman, Lucerne, Switzerland. And I carried this in our wedding.
Wow.
See the little flower, it's cupped, kind of like, but it's all this beautiful lace work that's done.
Wow.
So I thought y'all might like to see those. So that still smells good too.
Good.
So that was my grandmother. She also brought me back a music box and some other little things, I think. It was quite a big thing for her to go to Europe like that. And then I found, while I was looking through the handkerchiefs, this is what you would have, this is a teeny tiny little baby bib. I don't think I've shown this one. This was custom made in Switzerland, but it was one of my bibs back when I was a little bitty girl.
That's so cute. I like the bunny.
That's embroidered. And then see, it ties in the back. And then here's the bib part underneath the embroidery. So
I wouldn't want to give that to a baby. They get food all over the perfect embroidery.
Well, you this is more when you go somewhere. This is
but they're always drooling.
But it's got this teeny tiny little bunny and the little lamb and a little chick, and then this little boy with his flute, and then teeny tiny little flowers. And I'm 71 now, so that gives you an idea of how old this is. So, but it was one of my things I wore, I guess, because my mother was bound and determined, I'm sure, to put it on all of us at some time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and one other vintage piece. I hear I'm giving all my vintage out today. I may not have any for next time, or I'll have to think so. A mirror, okay? Like they used to put these on your vanity or whatever. And underneath this plastic is all embroidery on there. So my sister and I each had this, we shared the hand mirror. It's heavy and I still have it. And I just yell at Fritz, don't knock the mirror off the vanity, when he gets over there. But I
love the pink flowers.
I've had this one set aside. I've had it set. Yeah. Can you see them okay? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. So I've had this, I can't remember how long.
It's gorgeous.
Probably since I was about 14 or something. I was not spoiled at all. So that's kind of the vintage for today. The only other, this is a handkerchief my grandmother sent for me to carry in our wedding, but we'd already gotten married. We got married in a week. I think I told y'all that. So she sent, the garter and a handkerchief. And of course it didn't get here till after the wedding, but she tried. There's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the vintage from here for today.
Well, I'm going to shock you. I have vintage from my mom.
Good for you.
So my mom doesn't cross stitch. I don't think she ever stitched, but she really likes to collect sort of cross stitch antique type things. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure, I really should have asked her, but this was sort of like a last minute, I'll show this. I'm not sure if these were my grandmother's that she acquired or if she found these sort of thrift shopping, whatever. But maybe my grandma did pick them up and then pass them to my mom. So this is a cross-stitched base.
Yes.
And the whole outside is in this blue stitch.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it was actually hand done. And on the back, I thought was really neat is this blue stitching. You can actually see the crosses. So on the front side, it looks like that, but on the back, it looks like cross stitch. So it's just sort of a different way of looking at what our cross stitch looks like. And so we usually put the X's on the front, but you could get a very unique design by putting the X's on the back instead. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's not too big and it's just stitched in the one corner. And then there's two more pieces.
It's a nice napkin. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised she gave it to me so I could show.
Yeah.
And so then this is more of like a tiny dish towel and it has some back stitching.
Yeah.
And also has a bit of applique. Let's see, the bun at the top, it kind of looks like a turkey foot stitch. Going crazy.
Yeah. Cool. Very nice.
So that one's really different. I like how the mountains are just sort of hanging out in the background, but you could really still get the feeling. And then there's one last one in the same style. You fold it differently. I think this one's really cute. So the same sort of characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So turkey stitch, kind of not turkey stitch. But then look at those chickens.
Now, you'd say your grandmother stitched these? You think?
No, I don't think my grandma sewed, but I don't think she sewed to like make pretty
These
things.
are probably like some of the towels and stuff that my grandmother had too, that there was no way she made, but
Right.
Yeah. These are neat, Fawn. Look at that. How cool.
So, I think these are funny because I'm sure they're supposed to be ducks, but to me they look like chickens. And so it's funny to imagine chickens like in the water. But yeah, so thanks, Mom. I know you gave those to me the last time I saw you, which was a while ago.
Yeah.
But I found them securely in my closet. They were in my sock drawer. But you know, you put everything in your sock drawer, it keeps things safe, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, the very last thing I have is an announcement for a stitch along with Sarah from Memphis, Sarah E. So if anybody is going to attend the Black Needle Society Frogwarts retreat and you picked up the year one sampler, which I'm pretty sure you can still get on their website if you are interested. We are going to start stitching this on May 2nd. And so there are quite a few hashtags already being used. So we're just going to hop on the bandwagon. So there's the hashtag FrogwartsSal, hashtag Frogwarts Year One, and hashtag Frogwarts Retreat. So we're going to start this May 2nd. I don't think either of us really think we're going to get it done before the retreat in July. But it'd be nice to have you stitch with us and follow along with the hashtag on Instagram if you wanted to, or if you're already stitching it, just let us know. We'd love to see what you're working on. And I think that's all I had. Debated sharing. I think Marianne and I are both going to do Stitch Sania, which is by Lindy Stitches, Stephanie Webb. It's the idea that you work on one whip during the week, and if you do that, you get a new start on the weekend. And that sounds quite manageable. My husband is very excited to also do Stitch Sania. So either we might put up a mini extra video talking over what exactly May plans look like, but I'm also might just post it to Instagram as well. I guess it just depends on timing. And if we just get too much into our stitching, then see it on Instagram and not over here.
Right.
But that's all I have. Do you have anything else?
No, that's all I've got.
Well, on that note, thank you for coming. Thank you for being new or sticking around and coming back. Once again, we are just so grateful, so overwhelmed, overwhelmed in a great way, obviously, because I'm going to stitch little baby boars. I'm so overwhelmed and excited by it. But yeah, so we will see you in 2 weeks. If you have any questions, list them down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the typical things. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye, y'all. Take care.